here today to review Valletta.
Yep.
Before we get started, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with us on our journey.
And the notification bell so you know when we put stuff out there.
Yeah, and comment. Let us know what you think of the Valletta or any other games that you... And put requests in. We love to have requests for new games. So if we don't have it, we'll probably track it down. All right, so let's talk about Valletta. Who makes it? What do we got?
All right, so we got Valletta. Was released in 2017. Board Game Geek rating is 7.0. Designer is Stefan Dora. Art Clemens Franz, and the MSRP is $24.99. It's a pretty cheap game, and it's pretty readily available.
Oh, okay, cool. As far as that $24.99, what you get with it is a bunch of little like bird houses almost.
Yeah, they do, because they're narrow at the bottom and wide at the top.
Yep. And then we got cards. They actually have texture. They're really nice quality cards.
And they're two-sided.
Yeah, they're two-sided, but that's important for the gameplay.
Yep.
There's little mini cards, and they also have texture. So they did, the cards are actually really nice quality.
But the player
boards just kind of suck.
Yeah.
Player boards are really flimsy.
Thin cardboard. You can make fake thunder noises with them.
And then you got little cardboard barrels.
Yep.
Nothing real exciting. Some little cardboard victory point tokens.
A little cardboard track that's in the center of the board that separates the two sections of your city.
You've got wood pieces for stone, wood, and brick, although the brick looks more like tombstones. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to...
I thought the same thing when I was putting them out. I was like, man, these color like tombstones.
Kind of feel bad. We just put the red dude right there. Oh... So, yeah, and then later on he becomes a birdhouse. Oh, that didn't work so well. Yeah, I'm not coordinated. Okay, enough of that. So yeah, the quality of the pieces isn't great. I mean, it's the cards are bringing it up.
It's functional.
Because of the cards being that they did put the texture on them, I'm going to go and give it a 7. I think. As far as everything else, I mean, the meeples are cut shaped, no arms.
Because they're under cloaks.
Again, what is it with the cloaks? It's a good excuse to avoid arms.
It's Europe.
Yeah. I guess they don't have arms in Europe. I don't know.
They don't have cloaks.
Okay. So, is this Europe? It's Malta. I'm not sure where Malta is. And you know why I know it's Malta? Because instead of putting a game on the ads on the book, they put an ad for Valletta, which is a travel guide for Malta, right here on the bottom. So
it's actually not a bad idea.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's clever.
It's way better than terraforming Mars being on there, unless of course it was a travel guide to tell you to go terraform Mars.
Right.
But this is actually pretty cool. This looks like a flyer you would find at a travel agency.
Oh. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, so, what it is with rules putting ads on them, I don't know, but it's 2 in a row we've had.
So, I think 7 is a good score. I will go 7 just because even though I think the quality isn't the greatest, it's functional. So, you can play the game with no problems. Everything's clear, where stuff goes, what you're supposed to do with it. So, I think it's fine.
And once again, agreeing with me is always the best choice.
So what did you think about rules? Or theme?
Theme. So theme is pretty layered on.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely
so pasted. It's unreal.
A typical Euro game that could be at any location geographically. They chose Valletta, I think, mainly because of the travel guide.
Right, because they love the art. So, I mean, that guide so much.
Yeah, so as far as, the cards, they're buildings. They could generic buildings. It could be anywhere. The people cards, they're all... pretty much taxpayer and all kinds of different occupations you could have anywhere. They do have a few named ones, though.
Yeah, the historical base cards are the yellow cards. That's the only theme you really get in
that's
the game.
just about it.
Now, there's no story behind it, other than in the rulebook, there's a little bit.
Purple and yellow.
But, I mean, but that's the only purple card there is.
Yeah. No, you get 2. You got the Apprentice, which isn't again, it's generic. But
really, the theme is very lacking.
Yeah. As far as theme, because of that, I just can't see giving it any more than, honestly, a 5. I can't, I
agree.
There's nothing to it.
A 5. Yeah, there's nothing to the theme.
And I don't think even the rule book, there was a whole lot of explanation.
Just in the very back, I think there's a little bit about the the overview of the game. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it is. It's got a paragraph.
A little
or two.
bit, but
Yeah.
not very much.
Year is 1566. The Order of Malta has placed their first stone on what will become a powerful city in the Mediterranean. So it is Europe. You were correct. I wasn't sure where Malta was. Now I know. 2 to 4 players will that goes straight into gameplay. You get one blurb. You get one sentence. One sentence.
I felt like I was transported to Malta.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Didn't even get a Malta milkshake.
No. Oh God, shut up.
All right. So as far as the rules are kind of strange.
I did not like the rules. I kind of taught the game, albeit a few mistakes. But they're just confusing. One, it's Randy's favorite type of rule book.
I don't know if I can show that. I have to put a disclaimer on this.
No, we'll just blur it.
Oh, okay.
But it's not just a single page fold out. It's a 4-page fold out. So
3.
Is it 3? I thought it was.
Yeah, no, this is typical. This is your typical centerfold.
I don't like it at all. It was difficult to read it. It was difficult to. And then the odd thing is that the rule book is in 2 sections.
Yeah.
You got a very basic rule book.
It's basically a flow of the game.
Yeah. With no detail at all.
And then the card reference tells you what all the actions do.
Right.
So usually the cards are just kind of an accent to explain what. But this one you actually have to read the cards or you wouldn't know how to play the game.
It just feels discombobulated.
Yeah.
And how it's organized. So I did not like it myself. A couple of rules that were confusing because they weren't clearly printed on there. I can't give it more than. I mean, Catan's rule book's better. I give it a 4.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, once I looked at it, there was things we missed, obviously, and from that perspective, I'm not going very high, but I don't think it's. I didn't see anything that was faulty. I didn't see anything missing. Everything was contained. We didn't have to search, apart from your mad search of the internet to figure out there's a divider in the box.
Yeah. And that alone, I'm giving it a 4.
It was actually funny. For entertainment purposes, I'm giving it a 6. It gets 1 point above 5.
I spent way too long trying to figure out what that stupid thing was for.
It was just a divider, in the box. Wow. All right, that's our rules. Now let's go on to gameplay. So this is a very simple game.
It's a very light game. It's actually 20 minutes per player, and I believe that. If everybody, if they were focused on the game and didn't have any distractions, I think it'd be even less. Which
never happens in this
in this household. But it just,
Yeah, but if it were in some other world, another dimension, and there were other people,
we don't know if it exists or not.
Yeah, there was other people that didn't come from the Ash family here, then it probably could happen.
Right.
But yeah, in our world, we have those people, and they cause the game to drag.
Yeah.
As far as all you do in the game is you have a starter deck of cards.
And everyone has the same starter deck.
And you have basic resources, 1 of each type, brick, wood, stone, and a coin. And then you get 1 bonus resource of each of those that you get to draft for as you go around, starting with the last player. The resources are used to purchase buildings in the map here. It depends on the number of players, how big the map is, but it's always going to have 5 columns, right?
It's always 5 columns. It's just the number of rows.
So on your turn, you're going to play 3. You're going to have a hand of 5 cards out of your deck. You're going to play 3 of them in the sequence you choose, and trigger each one as you play. And you don't go around the table. You play all 3 of your cards at once. When you play a card, you get the resource, or you can purchase depending on what the card tells you to do. The cards that let you purchase buildings, you have to pay the resources that are pictured in the upper left corner. They have a cost in coin, and then they have a cost in resources. Once you purchase it, you put your building onto the little square on it that has a building pictured, and you take the card and you put it into your hand. It goes directly to your hand. Then at the end after you played your 3 cards, you're going to fill your hand back up to 5 cards. So the fact that you took a card from here is going to make you reduce the number of cards you have to draw. The game will end whenever you've placed all, I think it was 9 of your houses?
There's 8. There's 3
houses.
Different ways in the game. You got 8 houses you can place. You got a score track of 25 points. So whoever gets there first, and then you got this little purple dude, and he moves down the track and collects resources through the barrel tokens. And whoever places him on the last space will also signal the end of the game. You still get one major last round, but it signals the end of the game.
So once the end game triggers, you take all the cards, apart from the 5 that you still have in your hand, you take all the rest of the cards, shuffle them with the draw pile, and start over again with a full refresh draw pile, and you play through your entire deck until you've burned all your cards. You don't ever resupply shuffle the deck again. So you basically get one more pass through your deck.
And so the last person to play the last card, that ends the game.
Yes. And each of the buildings are two-sided because you can upgrade them. So once you've acquired a building, you can pay the resource cost without the coin to flip the card over, and it effectively doubles the victory points for the
most
card.
part. Yeah.
And also there's a icon on every card that gives you that triggers in some conditions based upon the cards you have additional resources, and it will double that too. So you'll get, instead of one icon, it'll be 2. So it has kind of a nice effect for any of those cards if you should have them and they happen to match the icon.
Right. But when you break it down, this is just a deck building game.
Yeah, it's very simple. Deck builder. One of the cards lets you either hire additional cards into your deck, which you start out with some extra builders. I think there was 4. And so you can recruit another builder card because you start the game with just 1.
Right.
Or you can trash a card from your deck, and you call it hiring or firing of employees.
But then if you accidentally fire the wrong card, somebody could come behind you and hire that person. And hiring and firing don't cost anything. It's just a matter of playing a card and get rid of a card.
I found firing to be less useful in this game.
I agree.
Because the deck cycles, plus at the end game, you want to have as many cards in your deck as possible to prolong your turn. So I just never trashed cards in this game, and it didn't seem to be valuable to me. As far as the triggering of the game end in this, I found it was just better to try to get as many buildings as you could down.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed. It didn't feel like there was a lot of gameplay. Like yesterday when we played at Yeezy, I thought that it felt like there was more choices to make, more gameplay that I wasn't expecting to be there. So I was pleasantly surprised. This time I felt like there was less choices to make.
There's really only one choice. You build.
Yeah, you play your cards you have, and you build. You get to choose.
Yeah, now you got different places to build, but it's still building.
Yeah, there's nothing much to it. I mean, it didn't feel like there was any real strategy to this. It was just play the cards you get. The only strategy is keeping some of the cards back when they're not as beneficial to play, so you can play them later. But eventually you got to play them all. So I didn't really enjoy this one that much. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad, and it was light, and it was a good.
And I think that's the draw of the game. If you want to introduce someone to a deck building game, this would be a good one to do that. Yeah, because it is very light. It's easy to teach. It's easy to learn. Yeah,
and given the fact that it's shorter than Catan, I'll probably give it a 6. I don't think I'd go any higher than a 6 with this one.
I think I was going to give it a 5. I didn't like it more than Catan. I thought it was okay, and again, as an intro game, I think it would be okay to pull it out to teach somebody. But for the most part, I would not pull this game out.
Yeah, there wasn't enough to it. I mean, it was.
I think the only reason why I have this game, because I also have it. I think the only reason why I got it, I think I got this game at half price books for like $13.
Oh, okay.
So got it.
But this one's my copy, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I got it. I got it because it was European, probably.
It's a Z-Man.
And I was considering going to Malta, obviously. So
that's a good reason.
Yeah. So I mean, that's our assessment of Valletta.
Yeah. Check it out if you don't have a deck builder and you're interested in it. This might be a good one to start off with because there's not a whole lot of strategy and it's easy to pick.
Well, if you want a deck builder that combines with the Euro, I mean,
it's a little unique in that regard. But there's much better deck builders out there.
Just if you're ever going to choose, I would choose Arnak over any.
Oh,
deck.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah, maybe not Dune so much. Well, it's still Dune depends on the
still
crowd.
Better than this.
Depends on the crowd. Depends on the crowd. But
Dominion would be the way to go. Or Thunderstone.
Oh yeah, Dominion, Thunderstone. There's a ton of deck builders that are better as far as deck builders, pure deck builders. But getting deck building combined with other action types, other types of
They're not
mechanics.
that common. But
Yeah, they're less common, but you're starting to see more and more of them.
yeah.
Still
Tyrants
play-
of the Underdark. That's a good one.
Yeah, they're doing a re-release on that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So with the expansions in it.
And then I haven't tried Clank yet, but I've heard a lot of good
It's a
things
good
about
game. I like Clank in Space. That's
that. Okay. All right. Well, we now talked about
there you go.
15
Other games other than Valletta.
so obviously we're not ranking this one highly. I mean, it's not horrible bad.
Not horrible,
It's definitely playable. It's definitely a straightforward game, and if it is, I would call this a very light to medium game.
I wouldn't even know if I'd go to medium.
Yeah, it might. I don't know. It's just it looks intimidating, but maybe if you compare it to some of the other
that's
light
true.
games.
If no one's ever played this and this is your first board game ever, then maybe.
And if the Rulebook were a little better, I might.
That's true.
So I'm thinking light to medium just because of that. It's just I wouldn't pick this up if,
All right,
if I've
all right.
never played a
You
game
twisted
before.
my arm. I'll say light to medium. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, that's our assessment. And again, notification bell. Make some comments. Hit the like. Subscribe. All that good stuff.
We'd love to have you follow along with us. We've got a long journey ahead.
That's right.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.